Mary Talks Relationships presents Why Chasing Happiness Makes You Miserable. We live in a world that measures everything by one word: happiness. It has become the new faith of our time. Half promise, half anxiety. We no longer ask, is it right, but does it make me happy? Happiness has replaced truth as our compass. Yet the more we chase it, the more it escapes. Happiness can be hunted. It isn't a trophy. It's a byproduct of living with meaning. The moment we make it a goal, we lose it. It's like trying to fall asleep by effort. The more you try, the more it vanishes. Take a couple who truly love each other. Over time, they start asking, are we still happy? That question, repeated too often, cracks the bond it meant to protect. They stop looking at each other and start measuring. They analyze, evaluate, compare. The more they observe, the less they live. What's lost isn't love, but spontaneity. They have turned life into performance, joy into a checklist. This obsession with happiness transforms existence into constant self-assessment. On social media, everyone seems radiant. Perfect bodies, perfect travels, perfect mornings. We don't live experiences anymore. We document them. A young man posts about his slow life weekend. A woman repeats, happiness is a choice, as if saying it hard enough would make it true. Beneath the calm tone lies exhaustion, the fatigue of having to feel good all the time. Our age has made unhappiness suspicious. A mother who feels overwhelmed hides it. A man who wakes up tired wonders what's wrong with him. Sadness isn't allowed anymore. It's treated like failure. Yet human life has always been built on contrast, tension, waiting, loss. Happiness slips between those moments. It doesn't erase struggle. It gives it meaning. Look at the man who keeps changing everything, jobs, homes, partners, because he's following his happiness. Each new start feels bright, then dull. He confuses excitement with joy. What he needs isn't a new life. It's a reason to live the one he has. Happiness doesn't appear in the absence of difficulty. It grows in the middle of it. Chasing happiness makes us dependent on feelings we can't control. We run from anything unpleasant and call it self-care. We build smaller, safer lives and wonder why they feel empty. Real happiness requires exposure to others, to failure, to love that costs. We can't feel alive without risking the wound that proves we are. A woman after heartbreak decides to focus on herself. She reads, meditates, practices gratitude, but the more she watches herself, the less she recognizes who she is. Because happiness isn't self-contemplation, it's movement. She'll find peace again, not by closing herself off, but by loving again, giving again. Happiness never lives in protected hands. It blooms where we dare to give. The confusion comes from mistaking happiness for comfort. Comfort avoids pain. Happiness transforms it. Comfort seeks ease. Happiness finds strength. A life too smooth loses flavor. Like a melody without dissonance, it becomes flat. The child who learns to walk doesn't laugh because he avoids falling. He laughs because he gets back up. Real happiness has weight. It lives in those who stay faithful when it costs something. The nurse finishing her night shift, the father working late, the teacher who keeps showing up. They don't look radiant, but they carry peace. Their joy isn't loud, it's grounded. Happiness isn't about feeling good, it's about doing good and finding meaning in the doing. The paradox of happiness is this: those who chase it never find it, and those who serve something greater receive it without asking. Happiness isn't a prize, it's a side effect. It appears when you forget yourself. It follows purpose like a shadow follows light. Ancient wisdom knew this. Joy wasn't a lifestyle, it was a consequence. People didn't ask, am I happy? They asked, am I faithful? And joy came quietly to those who answered yes. Today, we want a reward without the path, a bloom without the roots. That's why everything feels so fragile. Look at our world. Smiling faces, tired eyes. We've mastered the art of appearing happy, not of being alive. Because happiness isn't born from pleasure, it's born from coherence. When belief, word, and action line up. It comes when we stop asking how we feel and start asking who we serve. A teacher once said, I don't teach because it makes me happy. I teach because it's right. That is why she's at peace. Real happiness grows where duty and love meet. It isn't emotion, it's truth embodied. Modern life has everything: freedom, comfort, options, except joy. Because it forgot that happiness is never the purpose of life. It's the proof that we're living it well. You can't plan it, schedule it, or keep it. You can only recognize it quietly when it's already there. We don't need new techniques to be happy. We need reasons to love. Because joy isn't found by turning inward, but by turning outward, toward others, toward meaning, towards service, and it's precisely there, in that outward motion, that the paradox resolves itself. Happiness comes to those who have stopped chasing it. The pursuit of happiness has replaced life itself. We no longer live to do good, we live to feel good. Every emotion becomes a score, every moment a test. The slightest drop in satisfaction feels like failure. I'm not as happy as I used to be, as if life were meant to rise endlessly. But life isn't a steady climb. It's a rhythm of fullness and emptiness, of peace and struggle. That rhythm is what gives existence its depth. By denying it, we flatten it. Look around. Everyone wants to live fully, enjoy every moment, and have no regrets. These slogans sound brave, but hide a fear, the fear of missing out. We're terrified of a happiness we might overlook, so we rush. New trips, new goals, new thrills. But living isn't accumulating, it's staying, building, committing, and that always means choosing and losing something. The one who wants to live everything ends up inhabiting nothing. A man hunts for intense experiences, skydiving, meditation retreats, new lovers, new jobs. He calls it freedom, but he's running from stillness. He confuses excitement with meaning. His life becomes a series of peaks with no valleys and therefore no landscape. Real happiness doesn't lie in intensity, but in endurance. It's not fireworks that define a life, but the steady warmth that follows them. A woman changes everything the moment joy fades. Diet, routine, friends. She calls it growth, but it's restlessness in disguise. Because constant change prevents roots, each new alignment leaves her a little more scattered. What she calls evolution is exhaustion, a soul forever starting over. We act as if happiness were a debt we owe ourselves. I deserve it. I only have one life. Those phrases sound empowering but kill gratitude. They turn life into a consumer product. If a moment isn't perfect, we discard it. If a relationship costs effort, we quit. If work feels dull, we move on. Nothing matures. The instant becomes king and duration dies. Yet only what lasts has weight. This obsession kills love. Because to love is to accept that not everything feels good. It means staying when joy is gone, hoping when you're tired, forgiving when you don't feel like it. Happiness-chasing relationships don't survive weather. They collapse with the first storm. Love built on pleasure, not on pain. We've made sadness shameful and frustration a flaw. Yet both are proof that life still works within us. Sadness reveals what mattered. Frustration teaches our limits. Without them, nothing grows. The person who avoids pain avoids maturity. The person who avoids tension avoids depth. Chasing happiness also kills creativity. Creation is born from lack, not from comfort. The most moving art, the deepest work, always passes through struggle. The nurse, the craftsman, the writer, none of them work because it's pleasant. They work because it's meaningful. Constant happiness would silence that energy completely. It's the gap that gives the note its tone. Even ordinary life shows it. A couple wants to protect their bubble of happiness. They avoid conflict, tension, truth. At first it feels peaceful, then the silence becomes unbearable. Love without confrontation turns into politeness. Peace without truth is paralysis. At work it's the same. We no longer speak of vocation or service, but job satisfaction. When it fades, we leave. We forget that meaning often appears after perseverance, not before. If you wait to feel happy before acting, you'll never act. Action shapes joy. Joy never precedes it. This pursuit also destroys gratitude. When we expect life to please us, we stop seeing what it gives. Happiness becomes a demand instead of a gift. Ordinary things lose their beauty. A meal shared, a day without drama, a friend's presence, all feel too small. We crave magic. In chasing constant wonder, we lose the quiet grace of enough. At the root of it all lies fear. Fear of emptiness. We can't stand silence, stillness, waiting. We fill every pause with noise, scrolling plans. But it's precisely in the pauses that life speaks. The happiness we crave hides there, in the space we keep running from. Chasing happiness isn't living, it's escaping. It turns us into spectators of our own existence, forever chasing the next feeling. We think we lack joy, but what we lack is presence. We think we lack love, but what we lack is endurance. Life isn't found in the instant you seize, but in the ground you hold. An old woman once said, "I wasn't always happy, but I was alive." That's the secret. She didn't seek happiness. She lived. She endured, worked, loved, forgave. She didn't chase comfort. She found meaning. And in that meaning, joy quietly appeared, and not as a thrill, but as peace. Running after happiness keeps us from living because life by nature is imperfect. It has weight, roughness, cost. To live is to stop escaping that truth, to love, to commit, to wait, to serve. These are not obstacles to happiness. They are its roots. The moment we stop trying to feel good and start doing what's right, we finally begin to live. After all the chasing, we discover something simple. Happiness can't be caught. It can only grow. What makes it possible isn't pleasure, but purpose. It isn't constant comfort, but coherence. Life becomes rich not when it feels good, but when it points somewhere. As long as we ask our emotions to tell us where to go, we spin in circles. The day we find a reason to act, joy appears. Quiet, grounded, enduring. Happiness measures what we take. Joy measures what we give. Happiness depends on how things go. Joy depends on why we do them. One person may have everything and feel hollow. Another may lose everything and still have peace. The difference is direction. One lives to preserve comfort, the other to serve. The first watches his moods, the second guards his purpose. Seeking meaning means accepting that life wasn't made to please us, but to shape us. It's the shift from why me to what for me that change transforms pain into mission, limits into responsibility, and effort into offering. Joy begins when we stop asking life to make us happy and start asking what it expects from us. A man loses his job after 20 years. At first he collapses, then slowly something shifts. What he did by habit, he begins to do by choice. He starts helping others find work. It's no longer a career, it's a calling. He doesn't talk about happiness anymore, but you can see peace in his eyes. He hasn't regained comfort, but meaning, and that meaning has made him free. Seeking meaning doesn't erase hardship, but it gives it shape. Suffering doesn't disappear, it changes use. A woman caring for her aging parent doesn't say she's happy, but she knows why she wakes each morning. That why holds her steady. She hasn't found happiness, she's found joy. And joy endures precisely because it no longer depends on means. Joy has this mystery. It doesn't need everything to go right. It exists in the middle of imperfection. It hides in small acts of fidelity. The work of finishing a job well, the teacher who keeps showing up, the friend who stays. Nothing glamorous, but all meaningful. These lives don't seek to feel good, they seek to be true. And truth, lived consistently, generates a peace that no success can imitate. Modern culture sells joy as achievement, but joy isn't built. It's revealed. It appears when our actions align with our beliefs. The doctor who heals quietly, the craftsman who passes on his skill, the volunteer who listens in silence, all know the same calm, the serenity of meaning. Joy never lives inside us, it passes through us. It's a current, not a possession. The more we try to grasp it, the faster it fades. It lights up only when we forget ourselves in love, work, service. It appears when we stop watching ourselves live. To seek meaning is to stop asking life to be perfect and start asking it to be true. Not how do I feel, but what am I for? And when that answer takes root, joy becomes inevitable. Not loud, not fleeting, but steady. That is the final paradox. Those who chase happiness lose it, and those who seek meaning find it. And with it, joy, because they've stopped waiting for life to please them and started giving it shape. Nothing is impossible for those who choose to love.